better to have a short life that is full of what you like doing than a long life spent in a miserable way.
Hello and welcome back to my channel. Oh hi, if you're new, my name is Emma, complete grad filmmaker, and I again have to apologise for the works outside my window. They just keep going. There is no respite to this. We can't win. I'm really sorry, we can't win. I obviously have to pull attention to do you guys see this t-shirt? Oh my god. And I also have one that says Sofia Coppola. This is by Girls on Top. I'll link them down below. They do t-shirts and stuff for like really cool female filmmakers. Fucking love it. Honestly, go have a look at the stuff they have. I'm obsessed. And you can also peep my BFI Flair delegate badge over there. I just in case you missed it, I just want to make sure that you saw that was there. Hello, if you want some more explanation to who I am, if you've never watched one of my videos before, I'm Emma. I'm currently at film school, which is also bi, so we like making gay films for gay girls. That's what we like doing over here. So I thought I would compile for you a list, in my professional opinion, of sapphic films that I really rate. There are a lot of lists out there for, you know, for gay men, but I'm like, let's bring it home for the girlies, especially because there aren't that many good representations of bisexuality and lesbianism in popular culture, but very specifically cinema. You know, this is an industry that, because everything takes a long time to make, it takes a long time for things to change, which I hate, but that kind of is what it is. But there have been a lot of really great movies coming out more and more recently, as I have seen at BFI Flair, which has been fab. If you don't know what that is, I'll link it down below, have a look at it, maybe come next year, that'd be really cool. So I have compiled a list for you of films that, you know, are good for teens, because I think a lot of like sapphic movies and stuff are quite serious. There is a massive history in queer cinema of exploring trauma and exploring pain and suffering. So I wanted to recommend a few to you that don't go as hard down that edge, because I want to watch my silly little gay rom-coms just as much as you do. If by the end of a video you think I haven't talked about your favourite one, leave it down below. I can always do more of these videos. In fact, I would love to make this an entire series for you. But of course I can't start this video without saying that my grad film that I'm shooting in June is a sapphic little summer love story. I will share as much of the process of making that with you guys as I can. So if you're new and you're not subscribed, do follow along for that, because I think it's set to be quite a fun ride. You can also follow me at Sarcastic Fish on everything, but I think Insta and Letterboxd on one of those would definitely float your boat. This list is actually also on Letterboxd, along with a more comprehensive list I have of just queer films in general. Without any more further ado, because it's me, there's always a lot of ado, let's get into this list. So I absolutely have to kick off this list with one of my favourite films. This is a god tier film, but I'm a Cheerleader. A comedy of sexual disorientation. Megan is an all-American girl, a cheerleader. She has a boyfriend, but Megan doesn't like kissing her boyfriend very much. And she's pretty touchy with her cheerleader friends. Her conservative parents worry that she must be a lesbian and send her off to a sexual redirection school, where she must, with other lesbians and gays, learn how to be straight. This is a 1990 film by Jamie Babbitt.
Oh, homosexual!
Honestly, fucking creasing. This film, I've watched it a couple times and it does nothing but get funnier. This film has aged so well, and I think it stands a testament to the fact, and one of my stronger beliefs is that we don't all need to make sad, traumatic, upsetting films about being gay, about being queer. In my opinion, a lot of my queer friends are funnier than my straight friends. So, you know, there is, in the queer community, there's such a wonderful sense of humour. A lot of it, sure, is backed up with heavy amounts of self-deprecation, because which one of us doesn't have some kind of underlying simmering mental health issue? Not the point though. There is so much good comedy to be had in just queer spaces. Really enjoyable, really bizarre. It's satire. It's got goddamn RuPaul in it saying, I too was once a gay.
Honey, we think you're a lesbian.
I myself was once a gay. Now I'm an ex-gay, Megan.
You've been trying to make us eat this tofu.
You don't have any pictures of guys in your locker, just these.
Sexual, even vaginal motifs in artwork and decorating.
excellent. The entire ethos of the film almost just is just queer and quirky, and you're just like, oh, well. It's one of these films as well that like shouldn't just be like for the queer community, like absolutely just everyone watch it. It's hilarious, and the other thing is like it's still funny. This film is oh dear. This film is over 20 years old and it is still funny. And it's one that I recommend to my straight friends a lot, being like, this is so good, please just enjoy it. It has Natasha Lyonne in it as Megan, and it has Clea Duvall in it as her love interest, Graham Eaton. Their chemistry on screen is absolutely fab, and I remember reading how Clea Duvall was saying that she at the time found it quite difficult to play because she herself was closeted at that time. So that I think adds really an interesting like aspect to that performance. Being able to watch it in retrospect with that information I think is really, really interesting. So I really have nothing but positive things to say about this film. If you haven't watched it, you're missing out. On my Letterboxd review of this, I do lots of these because I really enjoy them. But what I wrote at the time was, a masterpiece aging like a fine wine. So disappointed in myself that it took to age 23 for me to watch this. So if you're a gay teenager now, do give it a watch, you'll love it. This is one of those that I really wish I'd watched then. The thing is, like, when I was a teenager, like, it just didn't occur to me to look for these movies. It didn't occur to me to seek a lot of this stuff out. I really wish somebody had recommended it to me when I was a teenager. So, enjoy. Oh, also, you know, these are my sarcastic fish mugs. If you want them, they're on my Redbubble shop, along with some of my like choice photographs and stuff. Next on my list is The Miseducation of Cameron Post. This was one that I was so interested in seeing in the cinema at the time it came out. This is from 2018, so I was 16. I guess I just didn't have the confidence or the self-conviction to be able to feel like I could go to the cinema or by myself or with any friends to go see it. Realizing that in retrospect really fucking sucks. Well done me for the personal growth journey that I've been on recently, like in lieu of my sexuality, but yeah, that's kind of sad. Big missed opportunities. Come as you are, Pennsylvania, 1993. After getting caught with another girl, teenager Cameron Post is sent to a conversion therapy center run by the strict Dr. Lydia Marsh and her brother, Reverend Rick, whose treatment consists in repenting for feeling same-sex attraction. Cameron befriends fellow sinners Jane and Adam, thus creating a new family to deal with the surrounding intolerance. Yes, this is still more one of the tragedy trauma-based ones, should we say, of the queer films on this list. But it was one that I always really wanted to watch it because it's got Chloe Moretz in it. I will say I don't think this is the best thing I have seen her in, but I do think this is quite a beautiful film in terms of its minimalism, in terms of its like deep desire and want for human connection, especially when you're trying to navigate which human connections other people are telling you that you are and are not allowed to have. There's another big thing that runs through pretty much most of queer cinema, is this idea of found family, because you have so many people who are essentially discarded, banned, all of that from their own blood relations, but it is so much about finding people who love you regardless, people who love you unconditionally. Found family and acceptance and love is something that teenagers in general just need, but it's something queer teens need so much more, because even in this day and age there is still risk attached to feeling like you can be who you are. And I guess that's kind of one of the reasons why I want to make this video, because, you know, nowadays all of these you can find online, by the way, which means you can just huddle up in your room and watch it. You don't have to tell anyone. Nobody has to know if you're still struggling with this, if you're trying to figure stuff out. Like, it's like a nice little safe space. The same with a lot of the queer fiction I've read. Like, it's a nice little controlled space where you can explore and understand your own feelings and stuff. And that's the thing that film can do, that's the thing that art can do. It's so much about conveying stories and emotion and empathy hugely. This is a 2018 film by Desiree Akhavan, and I think it's quite an interesting way of tackling conversion therapy, because it wasn't, I always think about conversion therapy, and often in films relating to gay men, it's very violent. There's often quite like a violent, torturous side to it. There is a point at which it does get quite violent, but then that is still relation to men and their relationship with their own homosexuality, not with women. So that's another reason that why I think it is so important to have more women making films, to have more non-binary theys making films and stuff, because we view these things differently, we view our relationships with ourselves differently. Your relationship to yourself as a bi, lesbian, sapphic woman will be different from a gay man, for example. This is one of the things that I want to do over here, is bring it in for the girls, gays and theys. Always. I did give this one 3 stars at the time. I don't think it is the best film it could have been, unfortunately, but I still do think it is a good film. This felt like such a near miss for me, like it had all the setup for something so good but ultimately never pulled it off. Like Cameron doesn't change, this is true, she has no character arc, unfortunately. She's one of these protagonists who I don't think she changes and kind of lets things happen to her. So that was a shame, but then also that's a story problem. And I think that's really one of the reasons this wasn't Chloe Moritz's best role. But I have to say that's a character problem, that is a script problem. It has nothing to do with the acting or the filmmaking. It's a beautiful film, but the script was kind of meh. And it could have explored woman love and woman attraction better by making the most out of the female gaze. That is another thing that I think this film unfortunately missed. But I think that's also having now been spoiled with Queen of the Female Gaze herself. We've been spoiled with Sciamma to see how well it can be done, and I think this is something this film missed out on. And I think queer film is really making bounds and leaps at the moment, especially for women. But regardless, still a good watch, and definitely one as a teenager and if you want some of that found family vibes. And are interested in conversion therapy. I also think that is just an interesting avenue to explore without it getting like too violent and too much. Next, Water Lilies. Oh my bloody god, am I obsessed with this film? I'm obsessed. This is such a big reference for my grad film. This is Celine Sciamma's first feature. She trained at Les Fermis as a screenwriter, and then they were all like, dude, your script is so good, make it into a feature. And she did, and it's Water Lilies. Sciamma is, for me, queen of Sapphic filmmaking, in my opinion, of the female gaze, of minimalist filmmaking. The stuff this woman can do with just having her characters look. Nerdwriter is a really good video about the female gaze and just looking in regards to Portrait of a Lady on Fire. Portrait of a Lady on Fire is not in this list, would you believe it? But we can talk about that another time. We have talked about that in my escapist costume dramas movie, which is there. But yes, Water Lilies is absolutely now one of my favourite films. Set during a sultry summer in a French suburb, Marie is desperate to join the local pool's synchronised swimming team, but is her interest solely for the sake of sport or for a chance to get close to Florine, the bad girl of the team? Sciamma and the two leads capture the uncertainty of teenage sexuality with a sympathetic eye and this delicate drama of the angst of coming of age. So good. This is a 2007 film, like I said, it's her first feature. And for a first feature, good god, this is good. The thing with this for me is, those of you who are gay, especially the girls, did you guys as a teenager ever have those relationships with friends that were a little too intense? You know what I mean? Like they're just a little bit too intense and a little bit obsessive, and then you go through this phase of almost being rather possessive with each other, shall we say, and then it ends in like a massive explosion, an argument, and then you guys never speak again. Yeah, just, you want to think about that one for a little while. You want to think about that for a little while. I do not want to think about that one anymore, but you know, just think about it. It is so much about that fixation you have on someone when you don't fully understand why you have that fixation yet, especially like, yeah, to an extent physically. You're like, why am I obsessed with her? Like, why do I want to be her friend, and why do I want her, like what? Yeah. Do you see where I'm going with this? Yeah. You does it with so little that you explore such really what is intense emotions, especially when you're at an age when you don't know how to deal with them yet. You don't know how to self-regulate properly when you're a teenager. So you do kind of let these things get out of hand. And the other thing is, I have to say, the main character at this age, she looks a lot like someone else at that age. So watching that was just a little bit too meta for me, if I'm very honest with you. This is such a strong first feature, so no wonder she's gone on to do the things she has. And again, it's because it's solid storytelling. It's solid storytelling, and if she's trained as a screenwriter, she fucking knows it too. What I said at the time about this was nothing like being a young teen and not knowing how to deal with sexual attraction, so it comes out as obsession. We all have our equivalent bin apple. When you watch it, come back to this bit of the video. Especially as a queen dear who doesn't realise it yet, intense best friendship that ends horribly, or did you just break up with a girlfriend you didn't know you had? One of my faves, do give it a watch. Next up, Lady Bird. This film is bi culture. I will fight every single one of you on this. This is a bi film. This is a bi film. It is. Lady Bird by Greta Gerwig is one of those that I really wish I could watch again for the first time. A Californian high school student plans to escape from her family and small town by going to college in New York, much to the disapproval of her wildly loving, deeply opinionated and strong-willed mother. First off, gotta say, the casting in this is just wonderful. Saoirse Ronan, Laurie Metcalf, Bernie Feldstein, Timothée Chalamet, Lois Smith. Like, this is such a great cast film. And like, you'd kind of expect that from somebody like Greta Gerwig, having spent as much time in the industry as she has and stuff. And I really do love seeing Saoirse Ronan and Timothée Chalamet cast together. I really enjoy that. Yeah, Lady Bird is so much about like wanting to have that little bit of revolution for yourself, wanting to, as she says in the like opening argument, you know, I want to live through something.
I wish I could live through something.
Aren't you?
Nope.
It did give me intense like noughties nostalgia. You know, I was a child then. That world much more void of internet is so now, yeah, like appealing and just like quiet. It just makes me feel like there's less brain chatter because you're not constantly consuming some kind of content or not. I think it is a wonderfully made film. I think it is a funny film. It's got wonderful performances and I really wish it was one I could watch again for the first time. Again, this is one of these films that I wish I had made. I deeply, deeply love it and I'm just glad it exists, and yeah, it's bi culture. Don't fight me on it, you will lose. I'm sure many of you know it anyway, so we're gonna move on. Bend It Like Beckham. When I tell you this is part of my sexual awakening, I remember watching this when I think I was like 8 or 9, and this film gave me feelings. This film gave me feelings that I did not understand. Bend It Like Beckham is a 2002 film by Gurinder Chadha. Keira Knightley in this, it just bearing in mind I was obviously a child watching this, but oh my god. Jess Brammer, the daughter of a strict Indian couple in London, is not permitted to play organised soccer even though she is 18. When Jess is playing for fun one day, her impressive skills are seen by Jules Paxson, who then convinces Jess to play for her semi-pro team. Jess uses elaborate excuses to hide her matches from her family, while also dealing with her romantic feelings for her coach, Joe. I know this isn't strictly speaking, well, I'm gonna call this a gay movie because it is, in my opinion, a gay film. I feel like it's pretending it's not gay, but like, you know, we all know it is. This film also has one of my all-time favourite quotes of all of cinema, being, lesbian, her birthday's in March. I thought she was a Pisces.
Get your lesbian feet out of my shoes! Lesbian? Her birthday's in March? I thought she was a Pisces.
She no Lebanese. She Punjabi.
It's also just the line, she's not Lebanese, she's Punjabi. She just gets me every time.
I haven't watched that one in a long time. It's certainly due a rewatch, so that's all I have to say in it for now.
Oh yes, a feminine urge to intervene in what I'm saying because I have like a thought of more things. But just rewatching part of the film, like, I think this is just one of the first times I basically ever saw like lesbianism talked about. Gay men, especially white cis gay men, get a lot of representation in media compared to other people in like the queer community. So I think for me this really was the first time lesbianism was talked about.
And anyway, look at the clothes you wear.
Mother, just because I wear trackies and play sport does not make me a lesbian.
And yeah, there's like homophobia from like the parents and all that kind of stuff, but not from the girls. Like, it's from them, it's positive.
Being a lesbian, it's not that big a deal.
Oh, no, sweetheart, of course it isn't. No. No, I mean, I've got nothing against it.
What's that Gotti going on about you being a lesbian? I thought you fancied your coach. I don't know what she was saying.
The screenwriter had them in a relationship, but then chose ultimately not to go that way. But if you're wondering, like, that makes so much sense as to why this is such a heavily queer-coded film. And also, I can understand that, like, 2002, I feel like, just wasn't ready. Yeah, I think this is just one of the first times that we saw it talked about. Yeah, I feel like this film made me realise that it exists, and then if you then are shooting something, kind of, it has that underlying intention, you're shooting with female gaze as well. This film definitely did something to me. Her birthday's in March.
But if you want some London noughties nostalgia, go for it. Especially, you know, if maybe you're trying to place bits of your own sexual awakening and watched it as a child, now maybe rewatch it with a little bit more self-context, shall we say. Next, Ocean's 8. I won't be adding any more context. This is self-explanatory. This film is gay. Honestly though, any movie with Sarah Paulson, Kate Blanchett, Sandra Bullock, and Kirsten Stewart, yes, you are correct. Twilight is part of the queer canon. I will not elaborate. Anyway, moving on. This recommendation is not really a recommendation because I haven't seen this film yet. Rafiki by Wanuri Kayu. This is one that is so high on my list and I just keep forgetting to watch it. So I'm basically going to shame myself right now so that I watch this and that we can talk about it. Kenna and Zeke long for something more. Despite the political rivalry between their families, the girls resist and remain close friends, supporting each other to pursue their dreams in a conservative society. When love blossoms between them, the two girls will be forced to choose between happiness and safety. This is a Kenyan drama. Rafiki is Swahili for friend. This is one that I don't know, I haven't got around to watching it, but this is one that has given me such strong Romeo and Juliet vibes, and every time I see clips from it, it just looks beautifully done. For me, this is a gap in the quick canon that I don't have yet. So you know what, once I've watched it, because I will let you guys know how I felt about it in the comments. And if you guys are watching this after I've watched it, chat to me. How did you guys find it? We can go on this journey together. And as I've said many times over many years on this channel, you should read and watch banned things. Rafiki was banned in Kenya actually, quote, due to its homosexual theme and clear intent to promote lesbianism in Kenya, contrary to the law. So to even make this film is an incredible risk and quite a feat. That's also one of the reasons why I wanted to watch it, because this is an act of defiance, this is an act of rebellion. That love can be an act of defiance and rebellion in itself is still and will always be ridiculous. One of my other reasons for wanting to watch it is it is very rebellious. So yeah. And lastly, the last thing that I have to recommend to you guys is by this wonderful, cool, amazing, fun filmmaker. I'm joking, I made it. My term 5 film that I made at school back in October with, I was gonna go like my team, but I made it with my friends. It's called Something Soon. I've linked it down below for you. It is about the tension that arises between a mother and her teenage daughter as the daughter starts to explore her gender expression in regards to her sexuality more, veering away from the conservative ideals of the mother. If you guys would like to go see that, that is linked down below for you. And yeah, the grad film I'm working on is also queer and sapphic. Quite a lot of these films are very much influenced for me for my grad film, so that's one of the reasons I wanted to share them with you guys. But yeah, that's all shaping up, that's all really exciting. So like I said before, follow me at sarcasticfish on Instagram or Twitter, whatever floats your boat, because I'll be sharing updates on the process if you guys want to follow along. And hey, if you have friends who love cinema, send them my way. If you have lesbians and bisexuals in your life, send them my way. Just send me the gays. Just send them to me. I will look after them. All of those who love books and films and video essays. I'm here for you. When I said I was a girl's girl, this is what I had in mind. But yes, thank you very, very much for watching. Leave me any recommendations you have below. Like, subscribe and all that jazz. And I will see you guys very, very soon. Goodbye.